Krishna gives all different examples. Everything that's beautiful, everything that's wonderful, everything that's heroic or powerful, it comes from a tiny fragment of my potency. He said, what is the need to speak of all this? Understand it's all just a tiny, tiny little spark of my splendor. The Atma is described to be more powerful than 1,000,000 suns. And yet that millions of suns of power in your being, that is your Atma, that itself is a tiny, tiny, tiny spark of the divine consciousness, Krishna. So then Brahma tells some of his stories. He said, I couldn't understand Krishna for some time. Why? Brahma said, I understand. Who does he understand? I understand Vishnu. Because Vishnu is the creator God, the maintainer God, and Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, the three devatas. And Brahma came from Vishnu. But he said, beyond Vishnu, there's someone called Krishna. This is in the Bhagavad. And where's the Bhagavad come from? The four Vedas. From the four Vedas, the Bhagavad comes, the ripened fruit. So Brahma tells his story. How can this little blue boy be God? Yeah, good question, right? You ever have this question, Vrindavan? No, because he is fully Krishna conscious. No doubt. Why? Fully Krishna conscious because he has full faith in the words of Srila Gurudev. Yes? Absolute conviction. Yes. Brahma said, I couldn't understand this little blue boy. One time, why Krishna is this very playful, charming, lampat, naughty, mischievous personality, but he is much more. Krishna spoke the Gita, and all this knowledge is there, and the Bhagavatam, and to Uddhava he gave so much knowledge, but yet Brahma was observing. There's the stories, okay? If you've heard of Krishna stories, he killed many demons. This witch put poison on her breast. She had the power of 10,000 elephants, and she was sent by this evil king Kamsa to kill Krishna. And Krishna, instead of being hurt by her poison on her breast, he sucked out her life air, and then she achieved liberation. One time, this massive python, which was described to be miles long, and it opened its mouth, and it looked like a cave, and all the boys with Krishna walked inside, and then Krishna followed, and it closed its mouth, and everyone thought, oh no, Krishna's died. And then Krishna expanded his energy and his heat, and then the snake died, and then a light came out from the snake. Can you imagine? A beautiful light. And then it entered Krishna's feet. And all the demigods, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, 33 million demigods were watching. What is this? This little boy who's just playing in Vrindavan, and he's defeating these demons like this, like this, like this. With his left pinky, he picked up a mountain. Giriraj. For 7 days he held this mountain with not even one drop of sweat. Why? Radharani's power. So he had no perspiration. Why? If he was doing it himself, he would be sweating. Our Gurudev said Radharani was holding him up. Why? Left side, left pinky, this is Radharani's power. Krishna did all these miracles, and the demigods were watching. In the spirit, the astral realm, in the spirit realm, right? This is Krishna's pastimes on earth. So Brahma said, I was here. Everyone talk about this Krishna. Who is this Krishna? I want to come and see for myself. So he came, and he saw from his heavenly airplane, Krishna was with his friends, and he was wrestling with them, boys. And sometimes his friends would beat him in the wrestling match and say, I have won. And he thought, I've heard that this Krishna is Narayan, he is God, and yet he's being defeated by the other boys. And Krishna said, my nose is up, so I've won. If anyone's been in the pin match, right? Wrestling, whoever's been pinned down, they've lost. But Krishna said, no, I am looking up, you are looking down, I have won. How is this God? He was eating from the hands of his friends, taking remnants. In Vedic culture, this is not proper. And he was eating with his left hand. And he had this rice and yogurt in his hand. He was eating and running through the forest and playing his flute. This is God. This is God. So the Bhagavad tells this story, our most important scripture. Brahma thought, how is this possible? I need to give a test. Right? He who is being tested gives a test to others. That means when we think, oh, I will test this person, I will test this person, I will test this person. right? How many fingers are pointing back? 3, 6? Many, 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 many. Oh, right? So Brahma said, let me test him. So one day Krishna was sitting with his friends. Long story. It's a long story. Brahma kidnapped all of his friends and all of his cows, his calves, and he hid them in a cave while Krishna was absent. There's a whole story around it. We're telling it in brief. Kidnapped all of Krishna's friends. He said, let me see if this is God or not. What do you think Krishna's going to do? What's Krishna going to do? You have any idea? So, Krishna looked around. Krishna went looking for his calves. And in the meantime, they kidnapped all the boys. Right? So Krishna thought, my son, right? I'm God. My little jiva is trying to test me. Okay, let's play a game with him. So Krishna, in a moment, manifested all of his friends and all the cows and calves from his own potency. In a moment. Exactly as they were, same clothes, same look, same style, same manner. Great yogis, they can manifest, replicate their body, right? Like Vrindavan. Can become 8, 10, 15, and it's like distributing books in 10 places at once. But it's limited, and they're all like carbon copies, Right? Great yogis can do this. But Krishna manifested millions of cows and millions of boys, and they were all
individual.
Perfectly spontaneous individual in their behavior. And then Krishna went home to his mother and father. And in the meantime, so this is how the story goes, Brahma thought, okay, I've done this activity, now I'm going to go home to my realm. This is called Satyaloka. Brahma's abode, Brahma the creator God. But he knows from Vishnu, right? There's a whole story. He went home, and yet the concierge, how do you say it? Concierge said, no entrance.
The
Gatekeeper, buzzer didn't work. Nothing worked. He said, no, you're not allowed in. So he had a very powerful, beautiful realm. They said, you cannot come in. He said, why? The real Brahma just came a few minutes ago, and he said, when the fake Brahma comes, don't let him in. What is this? Krishna's playing games with him? Right? So he thought, I better go back to Vrindavan and see what happens. So he came back to Vrindavan, and this time, a whole year had passed, because the time relative, right, in his dimension and Vrindavan on this earth, there's difference, right, the time. Whole year had passed. For that whole year, Krishna had been expanded as all the boys, all the cows, all the calves. So Brahma came and he saw, wait a second. Nothing's happened. They're all here. Did Krishna find them and bring them back? And so he looked with two heads this way in the cave with his power of his vision. And he saw everyone's there sleeping. He put them all in slumber, divine slumber. And then in the other heads he saw, oh, they're all playing with Krishna. What has happened? And then he went closer to Krishna. He thought, maybe he has some power. Maybe he is God. And then all of a sudden he saw every boy and every cow was like Vishnu. He thought, oh, my Vishnu? Now he could recognize, I came from Vishnu, from the stem of Vishnu's navel, lotus, divine cosmic lotus, Brahma appeared. He said, oh, my father, Krishna manifested millions of my fathers like this. He thought Vishnu is Bhagavan, but Bhagavatam says, Ete changsa kala pungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. It's the Bhagavad Puran. And the Gita, this is Sastra, said Krishna is the supreme, and his expansions, Angsa, Vibhinangsa, that is the Jiva Vibhinangsa, but his Kala, right, his direct expansions, that is Vishnu, and then Brahma, then Mahesh, all the demigods, all the so forth. Krishna like that just manifested thousands and millions of them. I thought, oh, this Krishna must be Bhagavan. This Krishna must be Bhagavan.